AFTV Picks, the new exclusive free-to-play betting tool app for football fans everywhere. Every week, test your skills and knowledge against Robbie and the AFTV fans and stand to win prizes and cash. And wait for it, it's all free.
Don't start. Just
you know, like when you're, Hi and welcome to the pre-match build-up show with myself, Cecil Jee, and James B. Oh, it's been a frosty morning. Everything's kind of just frozen over. We're moving a bit slow, but we're here. We're alive. We've got a good game today. We've got a big game, obviously. James had a bit of a ropey start this morning. The alarms wouldn't wake him up.
Then the car wouldn't turn on and everything was just, we made it. We got a good show for you. But oh my God, it was a stress.
It was a stress. And I think what it is like, you know, in the winter time, like your bed is just that extra comfy.
Isn't it? You're just like, oh, I'm not getting out of here.
I'm not getting up. But we're here. Yes. We've got a lot to look at, which is really nice. And this morning, I want you guys to stay tuned. We're going to give you the same stuff. We need the starting 11s at the end of the show. We're going to get your comments. We're going to talk about the signings of recent or the potential signing. Yeah, we're going to get through all of that. Make sure you check out AFTV Picks, where you can do your starting 11 on there as well. We've also got How's Your Touch, new episode coming, so make sure you check that out. And yeah, and then you can do the polls. But right, let's go back. Let's look back to a nice, happy time when we was here doing a watch along like we're going to be doing today, Arsenal versus Newcastle. Yes.
This was nice, wasn't it?
This was, James?
This was really nice. This was a really good performance on the back of a pretty stale one against Palace. It was nice to go get a 3-0 win. Before I go into sort of the analysis, I want to get your take on something. Were we really good in that second half, or were Newcastle really bad?
No, we were really good. We were really good.
Do you think?
James. Yeah, we were. And if I'm honest, I don't think even the first half. I think we didn't get enough
first half we were actually
I think it was good. Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
People were. I'm going to be honest. I was as well. I was like,
we were all a bit angsty.
Yeah.
Why are we not scoring? Yeah. We don't score. Yeah.
That was exactly how I felt, and I was like, oh, am I getting bored? And then remember DT come on at half time on the stream saying, be patient, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah, he was very calm about it, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was very. He could see things happening. I think Aubameyang was slowly getting in as well. He missed his opportunity, but then you could see he was trying, and then it started off in the second half.
You're right about Aubameyang. You could see that at least he was getting the chances. At least he looked dangerous. If I were a Newcastle fan, I'd be thinking, oh my God, don't give him many more than this because he will put one away. I got to be honest, I don't want to try to put a negative or a downer on the performance. I thought we were very good, but I do think a big helping hand was how bad Newcastle were. They were genuinely awful.
Yep.
And actually kind of looking back at it, I think, because when you're watching the game, you're so focused on what Arsenal are doing. You know, are we creating chances? Are we getting to the final third? Are we playing intricate football? Is it quick? All those things. And I think we passed a lot of those tests. We ticked a lot of those boxes. But then when you think, were we ever troubled by Newcastle? No, not once. The FA Cup tie, a little bit more. But in this game, not at all. I thought they were genuinely dreadful. A part of that, I think, is because of the pressure Steve Bruce is under to get them playing better football, get them winning games again. And so because of that, he ultimately went back to a 4-4-2, a formation that, as you sort of analysed in the last build-up show, it's where they were playing a lot of their better football, picking up points, have had some of their better performances. But with that, you're conceding a man in midfield or a man in defence against Arsenal. And in fairness, even though we were a little toothless against Palace, we did go in with 4 wins out of 5 into this Newcastle game, still on decent form regardless of the Palace result. And you'd think that maybe this wasn't the game for them to change their system. But you called it, we called it, the Newcastle fan on the Magpie channel, Matty, called it as well. And what you basically had was a lot more space for Arsenal to attack. And people were saying that just because Newcastle didn't create much, that they were sitting back in a low block, and I actually don't think they were sitting back in a low block.
You said that during the watch. They said they are doing something. They're trying, and
they're trying to. They were just awful. They were trying to. They were just so bad. Yeah. And so I think what you had were moments where, if I try and illustrate this as best as possible, maybe Wilson and Carroll were up the pitch, and Almiron and Joe Linton were probably trying to get into quite central areas. Shelvey, Longstaff as well, but you had Kraft and Lewis really high up the pitch. And so Aubameyang had loads of space to attack here.
Yeah, that was always on. And I remember saying, guys, I don't know if you in the Newcastle game, I was saying in the watch, I was saying there's so much space down that left, and Aubameyang is exposing it so well. But then, well, we're going to get to the second half of the breakdown. But yeah, I thought everything was going down the left.
It was in terms of in terms of getting an angle to goal, it was coming more down the left. And I think that was because of Aubameyang's movement, what he offers. But so many times he found himself in this situation where he was running one-on-one at either the defender, the centre-back, the right-back, whoever. But also, don't forget, where did our second goal come from? Exactly that. Yeah. Smith Rowe suddenly found himself 1-1 with Lascelles. So that was an area of the pitch that we were exploiting, because I think Newcastle and Bruce felt they had to have a go. Yeah. They had to try and nick a 1-0 impressive win at the Emirates, like a Burnley had done, like Wolves did, like Villa did, Leicester. We've lost a lot of games at home. Palace got a point, and I think he felt he had to do something a little bit more expansive in the hope that we were toothless enough to not punish them for it. Ultimately not what happened. And they were really poor, and they kept getting caught out in those positions. Now, if I just clear this, actually, let's just reset it all together. I thought it was their overcommitment and the fact they didn't do anything with it. Ultimately, Arsenal were thinking, you're coming at us. All we're doing is leaving space for us. So Aubameyang was having a lot of joy. But one of the things I've also noticed in recent weeks, this isn't really on Newcastle, but it's just something I've noticed we've been doing. It's been the combinations between Smith Rowe and Saka. Oh. These two have a phenomenal understanding.
Yep.
Now, this wasn't a quote I intended to use in the build-up show, hence I don't have it on the screen. But it was something I remembered when I was driving up here, that I saw a stat. I believe it said that Smith Rowe and Saka are the youngest Englishmen, or I think under 21s, two Englishmen under 21s to have combined for the most goals in Premier League history.
Where the...
Yeah,
okay,
I think it was something like that, or teenagers, something like that.
Yeah, it makes sense. It definitely makes sense.
I mean, when you think about it, two other English teenagers to have combined as much as that, I can't think of any.
I can't think of any.
That sort of, compute necessarily in my mind.
No.
But with those two, you think of the combination for that Saka goal, and it was that Smith Rowe getting down the left this time, finding himself one-on-one. And what I loved about that goal, it wasn't just the run and the cutback like we saw against West Brom, where the movement and the football gets you into those positions. He also made that happen for himself. Yeah. He took him on, went round and squared it for him. It showed maturity in knowing, this is my time to beat my man. This is my time to try and make something happen. And Saka's movement to find himself, again, I just want to illustrate it here, in this area
is incredible.
He's starting to get into that area a lot more, isn't he?
Yeah, it's not that it gets overlooked. It's definitely not that it gets overlooked. But when he did it and he continued his run against West Brom, it's something that not many players have the intelligence to carry on their runs and get into them areas, especially when you're not an out-and-out striker. So you have to give your props to Saka. I think he's class with it. Again, the run from Emile Smith-Rowe, the technical skill he had in dribbling past the fullback at Newcastle was class. He was doing inside, outside of his foot. Listen, absolutely, it was wicked.
It was, and I don't want to put too much pressure on Bukayo Saka.
And Emile Smith-Rowe.
And Emile Smith-Rowe. But what I would say, I've got the wrong side. What I would say about this moment and this goal is he's showing an eye for goal. He's showing an ability to know where to be in the penalty area, to make the right movements. And he's being quite clinical. Now, do you remember a few people were being a little critical of Saka for the chances he missed?
Oh, yes.
Do you remember that? Against...
I remember someone who said that.
Was it me?
No,
I can't remember.
No.
I think I might have been.
There was someone in the office saying he should take more chances. We'll speak off camera.
Fair enough. But it was funny that there was a few critics. I saw it on social media. People say, Saka took those chances. Burnley, Wolves, there was one, I think. And people were starting to say, you know, he's such a good player, but
he's not converting. And you know what? Sorry to cut you, but that's actually reawoken something that we're going to talk about after. But yeah, people saying Saka got into the right areas a lot of the time, but he wasn't converting, and we expect more of him. Which I countered that. I said, like, listen, he's still young. He's only just he's been consistently playing well. Yes, he's found himself in some positions that we should be scoring, but we're putting immense amount of pressure on the young lad. Like, he's still a young player. The senior players should be taking that.
Exactly. And he's starting to add goals to his game.
Yeah.
The Chelsea one, I think he maintains he still meant that. He might have done.
He might have done.
Do you know what?
Tammy wasn't happy when he said that.
When I looked at it, I thought,
shut up.
When I looked at it, I thought, because the goal's so incredible, you automatically think it's luck, also because it's right. If he did it with his left foot, you wouldn't be questioning.
Yeah, of course.
Right. But when you look at it, it looks incredibly intentional.
Yeah, like
when he did it, he wasn't like, oh, I fluffed my lines or anything. He did it and then looked up to see where it went. I was like, I think you meant that.
And his celebration wasn't like,
oh my God.
He
was like, You know, either he played it really well or I don't know, we really did mean it. But so it's that he's adding goals to his game, and the West Brom goal as well, when it's cut across and he opens his body, the movement, charging into the box, knowing that he's got to tap in. If he gets that, is superb. Because remember, he lays off to Lacazette, it's then Lacazette who flicks it in behind to Smith Rowe. So it's Saka's knowledge of, right, that's all happened around me. Now get into that box because there's going to be a tap in for me.
Yeah.
And then this again, Smith Rowe, he's beaten his centre back, and it's just a little cutback for Saka. He's adding goals to his game, and I'm so happy for him because there were critics.
Yeah,
there were critics about his finishing in front of goal, his composure,
his end product,
and he's starting to add that. And I don't want to put too much pressure on him. I said it about 5 minutes ago. I'm seeing traits of Raheem Sterling. Someone who, they've got a very similar running style, haven't they? Kind of low centre of gravity, very strong despite being quite slight and small, if you don't mind me saying.
He's good on the ball.
He's very strong.
Yeah, he is.
Very good low centre of gravity, looks after the ball well.
Doesn't have the T-Rex run, though, that Sterling has. Which is a good thing, but no offense, Sterling, you're a great player.
But also the one thing I'd say about Saka and Sterling is they're wingers, but they're kind of final third wingers. What do I mean by that? Let me explain, because you're probably thinking, what on earth does that mean?
Final third wingers.
What I mean is that I see them as making really good movement in the final third and doing their best work there. I don't necessarily see them as ball carriers.
Okay.
Players who get the ball, can beat a few men, jiggle
the
past
Zahas,
2, 3.
The Pepes,
they can,
and them
right.
They're sort of try and take on everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They can do it,
but
as in they've got the ability and sometimes pull that off. But actually, I don't think that's really what they do. For me, I see them making that run in the final third and beyond, getting behind, finding the right pockets in the penalty area, having the finish. Like Leroy Sané was him. I think Leroy Sané's got a little bit more dribbling ability, beat a man.
Yeah.
But I see Saka as very similar to Sterling in that sense. And I'm not trying to discredit what they can do on the ball in terms of beating men. I just don't think it's their forte. The best example I can think of is Riyad Mahrez. He beats players.
Yes.
When he gets the ball, he isolates them one-on-one. He's like, I'm going round you. I'm going to check. I'm going to come back. I'm going to whip it into the box. I'm going to get shot off. They don't really do that.
No.
They can every now and again, but it's their kind of instinctive movement in the final third in front of goal.
That was a good person to look at, actually, to back up that point.
Very different wingers, Sterling and Mahrez.
Yep.
But both very effective. So, yeah, anyway, that was a long dialogue on Saka. But I thought it was worth it because, he's a proper player. We're very lucky to have him.
Right, I'm going to take some comments. I've got FXMZYT says Ben Mitchell and Melito. So it's talking about me and James. People saying good morning everyone. It's early, got the stretchers on. Got a great shows lined up for you, as you know. We've got this, we've got the starting 11, the watch along, aftermath show, how it goes.
And if anyone missed the start of the show, don't worry, because I nearly did too. So
James had a slow start to the morning. He was frozen over. We got Willian is done out here saying Hamul. Nadina, I'm seeing a lot of people question about Pepe. If he plays today, does he start? I want to let you guys know Robbie is in the building. Don Robbie's here. He's mincing around. I can see him. James means inside forward, all dubbed out.
Yes. Yes, that's exactly what I mean. Thank you. Who said that?
It all dubbed out.
Thank you, all dubbed out.
All dubbed out.
Yes, Mahrez is more of like an inverted winger who comes inside. Sterling and Saka are more like inside forwards. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
Connor Moore says, come on the boys. Listen, a lot of fans in here today. I'm loving the chat right now. Loads of things going on. A lot of talk. Now, this is my section coming up next, guys. I just want to quickly just touch on a few things. Yesterday, me and James did a live, right? You can check it out. It's all up there on YouTube, on AFTV. But I was very conflicted. My head was scrambled. I'm going to be honest. I was all over the place when it came to what I want to happen today, who I want to play. I still am like that today. And it's really, I have to just get it out there because this game, normally I get a feeling and I research stuff and I'm like, this is how it's going to go. And I see it very clear. This game today for Southampton, I don't know why. It might be because it's a cup. I'm still a bit conflicted whether Matt Ryan starts in goal. I still don't really know who I want. Aubameyang, I expect Aubameyang to start, but like Martinelli, Partey, does Partey start? I'm still very conflicted. I don't know how the game's going to go. So when I did all the research and the breakdown and the analysis for today, I thought, let's take ourselves back and look how we've progressed. So I'm going to bring up the heat map of when we last played Southampton. So
I've got that wrong, apologies.
No worries, it's coming up. Yes. Did I say I was going to start? Yeah, this one. Always, listen, James is I can't do anything about James. Literally my right arm. Is that I built it like, is this the one? Right, guys, okay. Bear with me. So, looking at hopefully you can see it on the screen really clear. This is the heat map when we last played Southampton. This is the full-time heat map. Now, I took a lot from looking at this because I remember back if you cast your mind way back before the start of the year, we were heavily down the left side, as you can see on the screen here. Heavily playing down the left, right? I remember Troop saying, we're like Beyonce, it's to the left. We have nothing going right. So for me, firstly, that was a flaw. And I was like, Arteta needs to have a plan B. That was my saying. Instead of to the left, I said, we get found out too easily. Yeah. And we don't know how to adjust, how to win the game. We get found out way too easily. And then I also want to look at in our goal box here, in our box, the heat map is very red. So a lot of the time, obviously, to be the keeper, but also the defenders, it looks like it was under pressure. Yes, we drew 1-1, but
the red card might have played a part.
Exactly. Yeah. But it just doesn't. This is not a positive heat map to me.
No.
So if we flick over to
the second half.
The second half. We look over here. This is the second half of the game. Now, guys, I'm aware there's 2 halves in the game, but I looked at the second half mainly because a lot of the good stuff that we do in the game, we normally score more in the second half, and a lot of the action kind of happens at the moment, especially in the Premier League, in the second half of the game. So I said, let me take the second half heat map and look at that. So again, this is a terrible heat map, by the way, guys. It is, again, very much to the left.
It doesn't look great, does it?
Yeah, and then there's lots of areas on the pitch that just will barely touch.
Yeah.
It's like a blue slight mist.
No one ever stood there.
Yeah, literally. No one arcs with the ball in these areas. And again, that goes back to my being very predictable and being able to get found out. And we didn't really have much to basically win the game. This was what I was taking from these heat maps. Now, moving forward to the Newcastle, the last game obviously that we played, Newcastle 3-0 win. Now, guys, please, take in this heat map. Just take it. I sound like a geek. I sound like I'm doing the stat man thing, but just take it in like there's loads going up the left, okay? Obviously, there's loads going up the left, but there's loads more going up the right. So we're not Beyonce to the left, we're also to the right. And I looked at this and was like, this is where I see Arsenal going. I think Arteta is trying to really implement his process and he's trying to get the team more balanced. And it's clearly seen here in this full-time heat map against Newcastle. It was everywhere. It was absolutely everywhere.
We were. This is such a stark contrast to what we were seeing earlier in the season when we were playing that hybrid where Saka was a wing back, but then he came into midfield and we had the ball and all this. Then everything went down the left in the hope that our best creator, Saka, would feed our best striker, Aubameyang.
Yep.
And it was just so forced. It was so forced that Guardiola said, to beat them, I'm going to play 2 right backs because that's it. Because they won't score if I do that.
Yeah.
And what was so funny about that was we only really persisted with this for about 6-7 games of the season. But even when we moved to a back 4, we still thought, let's get to the left because Kieran Tierney's there.
Yeah.
Our better players, Martinelli, Aubameyang, everyone's there. And I think what's happened here with the right-hand side is, Cedric has come in. He was very good against Newcastle, and he was absolutely dominating that space.
Correct.
I think another part of it is Thomas Partey,
Yes.
because he's playing on the right side of Xhaka, and I think before it was let's play through Xhaka, but a lot of the time our first goal came through playing through Partey,
yep.
and we're comfortable to go down that side as well. But also it's the combination of Saka and Smith Rowe.
100%.
It's them two.
100%.
It's, as we mentioned before, the combinations between them
And they're
getting
daring.
down the right.
They're also daring. They go, like you said, you see Smith Rowe dart down the left, but you also see him dart down the right and create space. So
he does.
This is a lot better heat map, and I was thrilled to see this, as geeky as it sounds. It just shows there's a lot more balance, there's a lot more structure to what Arteta's trying to do. And why the reason why I brought this up is today, whoever gets brought into the squad, I want to see this matched. I want to be looking at the heat map. I want to see balance throughout the team. I think the players that get brought in, they have a bit of pressure to make a state for to keep their shirt. So I want to see more of this. We can flick over just to the second half heat map. So I'm staying consistent with my facts here. This is the second half heat map against Newcastle. Again, it's a lot different to Southampton's one. It's still balanced. Yeah, it is more to the right, but it's still very balanced. There is some going up to the left. We use more of the pitch as well. A lot of the more the pitch is covered. That, like you said, might be down to Partey as well.
Yeah.
Being very more dynamic and getting the ball forward. And the youngsters, they've got more energy and more life. They want to get around and utilise space. And guys,
it's much better.
Yeah.
It's much, much, much better.
We're heading in the right direction.
And also, let's remember that this gets the best out of Kieran Tierney as well, because if we're playing more down the right, what that means is when it does go to the left, they've not invested as many players there. Maybe their fullback's not switched on. You know, it's unpredictability is everything in football. If you know what the opposition's always going to do, especially when they don't execute it very well, it's so easy to defend against them. And I think, I hate saying it, but if you look at Man United, what they're doing differently now to what they were doing a year ago, let's say, when they were struggling, it's not just having Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes goes beyond. He comes deep. He goes left. He goes right. And you know what? Pogba, is he going to play as the defensive midfielder? Is he going to play on the left? Where's he going to go? Rashford can pop up in any area. Martial. That's what they've added to their game. That unpredictability, that fluidity, that different movement. And look, I'm not saying I want to be like Man United. Oh my God. I mean, and I still have my questions about them. For sure I do. But they're not a bad model to follow in terms of they were very much where we were a year ago. And they added the right kind of players and everything kind of gelled, and they got rid of the dead wood and things started to click for them. And I just think it comes down to balance. It's looking at their 11 and going, that's so much more balanced. I get what they're doing. And it's the same with us. And that right-hand side, this heat map especially, it just shows it. Look at that, dominating both wings. And yeah, I'm with you. I'm very, very happy on that. Well done, Arteta.
Yes,
he's addressed
very
that.
much so. And guys, thank you for the comments and saying smash the like, guys. Well done, James and Cecil. James and your soups. Listen, big up the love. I love this. We're Saturday morning. Thank you, guys. This is what I like.
And let us know where you are around the world, because I'm used to this being like late kickoff times for most people. But I mean, you might be in Australia and this is like a nice 8 p.m.
Sorry, I forgot at the beginning of the show. I was like, it's early. You know, we're supposed to start. And there was guys like, New York is 5 a.m. We're getting up to watch. I was like, I felt a bit insensitive. I was complaining.
Here's me getting up at 8 o'clock and I'm like,
a normal working hour.
I'm exhausted.
All right, guys. Thank you again.
If there's any fans though in Australia, like the east side of the world, let us know. What time is it there? Because it must be like a nice evening kickoff.
It's going to be, it's going to be nice for them. And
Saturday night.
We're going to go on to Southampton's patterns of play and what we expect from them today, which James is going to lead. But before we do that, I just want to also say again, I spoke about being a bit scrambled on what to do about Southampton. I still am. So at the end of the show, we're obviously going to build your 11s, but we're going to have a discussion about. Does Matt Ryan start? Because Jason, oh my God, I'm thinking of the cameraman. James had a really good argument why he thinks he should start, and I want to dissect it, and I want to hear what you guys think as well. People are saying Sweden, it's 11:40. Pakistan, it's 3:43 p.m. here. Poland, Malaysia start at 8 p.m. That's kind of nice. That's a nice little kickoff. 8 p.m. That's normally our kickoff. India, Eve 40. Afro Cecil, Josh is in the comments again. Afro Cecil in New York. 6:40 p.m. in Malaysia, Denmark, Malaysia. A lot of Malaysian fans. Poland,
I had
France.
flights booked to Malaysia last summer.
Sorry, someone said Peckham. But carry on, carry on.
Fair enough, down the road. I had flights booked to Malaysia this summer. They got cancelled thanks to a pandemic. So big up you guys in Malaysia. I really want to come.
Yeah.
I will be soon. I hope.
In America, 4:40 a.m. here.
Nice.
We'll leave it on that. Hi from Las Vegas. 7:15 kickoff in Jamaica. Right, let me move on. Tokyo. Oh, we got some big up everyone.
I love it.
I can't wait till
we
can do the tours. Robbie speaks about it all the time, but hopefully we'll be able to go out there soon when fans are allowed back. But first, health is wealth. Right, let's go into the patterns of play Southampton might try today and what we're going to expect.
There's two things in particular. I'll start with the obvious one. First is the overlapping fullbacks. They get them high up the pitch. Carl Walker-Peters and Ryan Bertrand, who we've been linked with, by the way, they're good fullbacks. They're going to cause us problems going that side. Obviously, this is all. You also got to think who's going to play for Southampton, who's going to start. I think they've got injuries. You've got that to consider. So I think these two in particular are ones to watch, but they're not the ones I really want to focus on. What I wanted to focus on, if my pad will work, is this. There's one thing I've noticed about Southampton is that their front four like to get very narrow, to the point where Theo Walker, who's never really a left-sided player, can actually do that job quite well because he's still popping up in very central areas and he's opened up towards goal. When you play a 4-4-2, it's very important that there's a natural outlet to your strikers. Yeah. So if you're Andy Carroll, for example, you're probably going to go long. He's going to dominate aerially.
Correct.
But Adams and Ings are very good at protecting the ball to feet, and they come short and they'll hold it up and they will drop into these pockets here that we're seeing. If I just show it here, in this area here, that makes it very difficult for a Partey, a Xhaka, a Holding Luiz. Whose man is it? Because the other striker is inevitably peeling off into the other areas here, right?
Yep.
Maybe even a bit more central.
Yeah.
Adams is the one who's very good at doing that, and their first goal against us when they beat us, when we drew 1-1 at the Emirates, came from Theo Walcott running beyond as Adams came and won the ball. And he dragged, I think El Neni couldn't beat him to it, Sabals couldn't beat him to it, Gabriel I think was dragged out of position, and suddenly Walcott was 1-on-1 with our other centre-back and the goalkeeper. Yes. And I think that is a pattern of play that we're going to find very difficult to deal with because it's so unpredictable because either striker can do it. It's a case of which centre-back goes and presses. Do our midfield drop? Do we play one DM to watch that and maybe have a partner either side of them? There's not really much more to say about this other than I think that's going to be the biggest problem our strikers are going to have to deal with. They don't play with a 10, but they have players who come narrow and can pick it up in that area. When you see that happen, whose man is it?
I got the answer. Sorry, I was giving you a really death stare because like mathematics was going on in my head. Like, how do you deal with this? So you play two in the midfield. One goes tight to Adams.
Right.
One goes tight to Adams.
Well,
so let's say Xhaka.
All right.
So Xhaka man marks Adams, right?
Yeah.
He may get spun. He may get done with a bit of movement. That's likely to happen. When Xhaka picks up Adams, or the midfielder picks up the ball, Partey drops into the defence. So he drops in the middle and allows Holding and Luiz to then pick up Walcott and Ings if they're playing up top. If they're playing up top together, they will man mark. So obviously Luiz, he will pick.
Well, like that, you want Partey to literally drop into centre back.
Yeah.
But is that going to happen that quickly?
It's Premier League standard level. It probably won't, because they can probably move it around quicker. But that is, to deal with that, that's how I see it. They're very fast on the shoulder, Ings and Walcott. Yeah. I think they have to be man marked. I don't think you sit off. But that's what I would want to see if that happened. I don't know if
I'm thinking out loud here.
Go for it.
But what if it was more something like this, where that's difficult to... So you're going to do one... Okay, basically someone drops you can do this maybe, right?
Go on.
You can have a natural DM in Partey, and then either Smith Rowe, Sabas, whoever is playing as more of a midfield 3.
Yeah.
That's a natural barrier that you've created in front of your centre-backs, right? It's a much more natural and difficult trio to sort of penetrate through.
Go on.
But the other option, I'd say, knowing Smith Rowe is likely going to play as a 10, is when Adams gets into that area, your centre-back, so say Adams has come in, your centre-back Holding goes with him, and then your full-backs are expected to just come inside.
That's probably what, most teams will go with. But then if the fullbacks bomb on, Bertram and Walker-Peters.
Yep, then you're asking a lot of Bukayo Saka and Aubameyang.
Yeah.
I do get that. But that feels a more natural thing for you to go with one centre-back, but you've got to win it. If you go and press the centre-back, you've got to win it. And the problem was that they took us out of the game when Walcott scored with one pass because Ceballos, El Neni and Gabriel all went for the same ball, none of them got it. So they took out 3 players with one pass. It was incredible. Trying to think if there's any other options, really. I mean, there's one thing you can do for sure. Don't let that pass go into Adams.
100%.
That's the first thing you do. And actually, that's where the responsibility is on Partey and Xhaka, where maybe, okay, they might not man mark him, but they might do more of a shielding job.
Shielding, DT. Sorry, my mind's all over the place.
But you know what I mean? They might have to act as that barrier in front of Adams. Don't let the passes go in. But I just wanted to talk about that. They played that 4-4-2, and I think that is where they're going to cause the most problems. It is that central pass into the striker that we need to stop.
I'm glad you found that because, like I said, I've been looking at Southampton all week and still trying to break down where we're going to be most hurt. I think they're just so unpredictable. But now is the time to have discussions with the show, especially getting your 11s in. But we should do. Look at. I don't know if they can see that team because I want to see. This is the.
Let's make it slightly bigger.
So, guys, this is the 11 that started against Newcastle. Who stays in? Who gets dropped out? Let us know in the comments. Also, does Matt Ryan start today? Does he start today? Does he start or does Leno start? Now, James said he said something amazing on the show yesterday. He said, if he doesn't play today, if he doesn't start, then when's he going to play? Are you going to play him in the Europa League game? Because I think that's even more pressure to make him start in that game instead of letting him play in the FA Cup. However, a lot of people are saying in the comments, that's not fair to let him just jump in and give him the pressure of doing it. But then
I bet he wants that.
Yeah.
I bet he wants it. He's 28. He knows the Premier League. He's played at St Mary's. I bet he'd much rather just be thrown in at the deep end and play and get his first minutes for Arsenal. I really would.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Right.
Should we do it? Let's start with the goalkeeper. So, are you starting Leno? Let's do this together. Are you starting Leno?
No, James, you decide. I told you. My head's... Guys, in the comments, let's have a look. Runnison starts. Sorry, I should laugh.
You're the worst.
Runnison starts.
I'm going for Ryan.
Yeah, Leno should start, says Troops. I don't know if that's the real Troops. I don't know if it is. But Troops says Leno should start. Vic says Ryan starts. Matt Ryan says yes. Newmar says, Matt Ryan says yes.
Matt Ryan's in the comments, is he? Saying...
He's saying, I will start. Give Leno a rest, start Matt Ryan. Right, okay, cool. The majority are saying Matt Ryan should be fit anyway. He's fit, he's available to play. I just don't know if he starts.
I think he starts. Let's go through the back four.
Almunia. Sorry.
Almunia.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Ryan. People are saying Ryan. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, you guys, Ryan. I'm going to be honest. I did my starting 11 last night. I left the goalkeeper side blank.
You did? Yeah. You left a lot of it blank.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know.
That was it, because I was just all over the place. Right, who else?
Right back. Apologies to anyone who did tune into our live yesterday and heard us go through this again, but I think after having slept on it, we want to hear more comments. It's difficult. I personally stick with Cedric.
Okay, you'll stick with Cedric.
Yeah.
People did argue Maitland-Niles and Bellerin. Your argument, tell them your argument for starting Cedric to keep in the squad. I know it was because
he's playing really well.
Yep.
But also he's not played that much regular football. So what does it matter if he plays Monday, Saturday, and then Tuesday again, and then maybe the Saturday after that again? He'll be fine. He's not played that much football. He can do it.
So I think we should start Bellerin. I'm a fan of Cedric. Probably me and Jay, one of his biggest fans, and
let's do it. Bellerin in.
I want Cedric to continue playing Premier League. And James is right. He has a fair argument. He hasn't played for a while, and he's got his chance. He should be able to keep the shirt and play in every game that's available to him. But I think Arteta and I think Arteta will go with
cool.
We'll go with Bellerin.
Centre-backs.
People are shouting. Okay, no, it's very split. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Bellerin, it's very split. Centre backs, Luiz and Gabriel. I know you agreed on that, guys. Let us know. Please let me know because this is still a tough one.
Absolutely agree with that.
Gabriel needs minutes in my opinion. I still think this is the strongest pairing, Gabriel and Luiz. Let me just see what everyone else is saying. The game is at 12:15. Real question is, will the ref Spud the Southampton players. People are still on Cedric. Wow, people are screaming for Cedric, James.
All right, we'll put him in then.
Yeah, put him back in. Yeah. Mustafi. People say Mustafi as well at centre back. But do you know what? Was Mustafi. I'm waiting for the centre backs. Guys, centre backs. On centre backs, where you at?
Let's move to left back.
Let's move to left back.
Tierney.
You're adamant about that, innit?
Yeah. Especially if it looks like we're actively in the market for a left back.
Yeah.
So I'm not as worried. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not really.
And he didn't play against Palace. He's fine.
Fair.
Well,
Fair.
I hope he's fine.
Fair.
I would. We lose so much without him down that side.
Yeah, people are saying Chambers, Gabriel and Louise. Finally, people talking about centre backs, Gabriel and Louise. Yep, we're happy with that. And then we'll keep Tierney in. That's a fair argument. I don't think anyone's going to disagree. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with that. Right, midfield. Sorry, this is taking a bit of time, but midfield. We've got Partey and Xhaka in there. Who's really going to start? I want Partey to start. I want him to start. I think it makes it strong in the midfield. I don't know who's his partner. Maybe El Neni. But who do we put in the midfield, guys?
I want Ceballos with Partey personally. I'd like to see that. Ceballos got a rest. I know they said he had a slight injury. I don't believe it for 1 second. I think he's just rested.
Yeah.
And Partey's not played a lot of football at all. He's fit. He got through so let's think about it. He played about 20 to 30 minutes against Palace. He then played an hour against Newcastle.
Yep.
Why is he being taken off early against Newcastle if they don't intend to play him in this? He's not playing for 8 days otherwise.
You want Ceballos in there, innit?
No, Partey.
Partey as well.
Yeah,
Okay,
Partey came off.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
With half an hour to go.
Oh, so they only
game.
do it to save. So yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think they're saving him for this.
I'm still waiting for people to catch up. Okay, Ceballos. People saying we finally got here. Ceballos, Partey, and Ceballos. Everyone agrees with El Neni.
Not for me.
People saying El Neni.
I like El Neni, but no, I'd go. I mean, that's a pretty strong.
El Neni and Ceballos, Partey and El Neni. Partey and Ceballos. It's very Aziz and Partey.
I was gonna say we're talking about rotating, but if we get something like that, that is a very, very strong. That would argue I would say is our best 6.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah, agreed. Actually, looking at it, would you put Xhaka in there? But inconsistency wise, no.
You know I love Ceballos.
Yeah, I know. Okay, fair.
I love Ceballos.
Do you know what? You're right in what you just said there. That's probably our strongest 6. And if I'm honest, yeah, we can go with that. And we should be taking the cup serious. So we'll stick with that. Odegaard. All right, cool. Agree with James. People agree with James. Yeah, James, big up.
Thank you.
Right, who's going? Right, let's do everyone. The middle 3. Okay, so we're going to look at Saka, Smith Rowe, and Aubameyang.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go for them 3. You say who you think should play in those 3.
Remind everyone of what ours was.
Pepe. Yep.
Pepe's in there.
Aubameyang, I want him starting. He has to start.
Yeah.
So that's Martinelli in
So
it.
let's take Lacazette out.
Don Robbie and Kelechi. El Neni, Xhaka and Willock. Ooh. The thing is, yeah.
I think Willock might start.
Yeah, same. I'm going to be honest. We might be burning out Smith Rowe too much. He is young, but we might be relying on him way too much. But I suppose bringing in Odegaard, which isn't confirmed yet.
Yeah.
But you made an argument saying play Smith Rowe because if Odegaard comes in, Smith Rowe can be rested. There'll be enough time for him to be rested, and I think that's a great argument. So
yeah, and that is looking like it's progressing.
Here we go.
That would be just very quickly. That's the front 4 I want.
Yep.
You know, Pepe. I think given an opportunity, he's still got loads of talent. He can make something happen out of nothing. I think it's very easy to forget that when we're going, ooh, should we put Pepe in? He did start the FA Cup final and play really well. So there's clearly a very good player in there. We just need to get more out of him.
Stan Kroenke says Saka, Emil Smith Rowe, and Martinelli in that 3.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean I would prefer that personally.
I'd be staggered if Martinelli doesn't start. I'd be staggered.
Yeah, Saka, Emil Smith Rowe, and Martinelli. Yeah.
But you know,
so take out Pepe.
Do you know how I think about it?
Go on.
In the last game, we had Saka, Smith Rowe, and Aubameyang as the 3 behind Lacazette. And what you have is the runner Aubameyang, but you have the ball players Smith Rowe and Saka. I think this is a slight flip where Pepe is the runner, the guy who gets in the box, maybe on the edge or whatever.
Martinelli is a runner.
He is, but I think he's much better on the ball and he's much more naturally creative.
Agreed.
I think if you played Martinelli number 10, he'd do a decent job.
Yeah.
Even though it's not his natural role, I think he'd do a decent job. So I think what I'm saying is you've got enough players coming short. and you've got sort of a winger who can get him beyond in Pepe. So I think the balance is still there. What do people want?
People want. Chris Hopton says Nelson deserves it more.
Okay, well, let's go with that.
Which I can also agree with. We've got Patrick says Martinelli, Smith Rowe, and Pepe. I can't say your name. Jananethon B says Pepe, Reece, Willock. It's interesting. Sweaty Cam says Martinelli, Pepe, Willock. I think Willock might start. 1, 2, 3, space 4, 5, 6 says Willian is an up and coming talent. Ash Gaming says I guarantee Mustafi starts. Pepe number 10, Nelson right wing. Okay. Pepe, Willock, Martinelli. Right, before we close off, who starts up top? Aubameyang or Lacazette today? Or Nketiah? Could be Nketiah. And I wouldn't be shocked if Arteta goes with it. I'm going to be honest. If I see Nketiah, I'm not going to be like...
He was very complimentary of Nketiah in the quotes that came out last night from the press conference. Said, you know, the minutes he's played, the experience he's had, the goals he scored, like you won't see many young strikers with those kind of numbers. I get what he's saying. Nketiah, I think, has been more effective than a lot of us have given him credit for.
Yep.
I would still go for a Laka or an Aubameyang, personally.
I'm convinced and 100% sure Aubameyang will be starting up top.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm confident in that. I think Martinelli also will start. Looking at the training video yesterday on Instagram, I know Mustafi was in it as well, but I think Mustafi was the squad player and they were getting Martinelli to get his fitness and playing one-on-ones. So I expect to see Martinelli and Aubameyang. Before I close off, there was a super chat. Alpha Kenny Body. Thank you so much for your super chat and your comment. You said, just want to say I love this show.
Aww.
Takes me back to, bear with me, takes me back to Andy Gray's boot room.
Oh.
Arsenal to smash it 3-0.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that a lot.
Thank you so much for your comment, Alpha. Positivity to the end. Thank you everyone for tuning in to the Pre-Match Build-Up Show. It's here, it's nice and early. Everyone's in the building. We've got Lee, Robbie. The watch long is coming straight back to you guys. First will be the starting 11. Make sure you check it out and stay tuned for more AFTV content. Check out AFTV.mobi and AFTV Picks. It ends very soon. Thank you.